Semi-automatics are a struggle in Modern Warfare, mainly due to the power of the full autos in that game. And in the COD games with really short times to kill, you want something that is going to melt. Assault rifles are one of the main weapons in Call of Duty, and it's been that way since the very beginning. And I've done the worst ARs in COD history, actually a couple times. We did one a long time ago, then we did a community-driven one, but today I'm going to give you my personal list. COD is dominated by ARs and SMGs. I mean, it's the pace, it's the handling. When you think of the most iconic guns in COD, chances are a lot of them are assault rifles, but they're all not good. They're all not created equal, and there are some really, really bad assault rifles throughout COD history, and that is what I'm going to count down today. So you let me know in the comment section, what is your least favorite AR in COD? As always, powered by Scuff Gaming. Link at the top of the description. If you get anything from Scuff, if you get that new Dream controller, use code CHAOS. Get yourself some discount and let me know on Twitter if you do. Now, we're going to start off. Remember, this is my personal list. These are my picks, so I'm sure you're not going to agree with all of them. Maybe you agree with the SE 2010 in Call of Duty Ghost. Do you even remember it? The SC was one of your default assault rifles in Ghost, and while it wasn't bad, it was definitely underwhelming. Most people completely forget it was even in there once they unlock something else. It had a respectable fire rate, 750 rounds per minute. Recoil, it wasn't bad. But the trade-off was some super low damage. Super low damage. It would hit for as high as 35 and as low as 20, which made it a 3 to 5 shot kill, and that was not what you wanted from a gun in a game like Call of Duty Ghost. Ghost was an extremely fast-paced game where there were tons of guns that would kill in 2 to 3 shots, but then there was this thing. It was easy to use, but the low damage and the painfully long time to kill compared to everything else just made it kind of irrelevant. I think it's a good way to start today's list. Next up, and I hate putting an M4A1 on any negative list, but I have to. Modern Warfare 3. Let's stick with the theme of default assault rifles, okay? The M4 has appeared in a ton of Call of Duty games, and it's normally a solid go-to gun. Middle of the road a lot of times, sometimes super great, like Modern Warfare. High fire rate, low recoil, moderate damage, and decent range. That was until we got to Modern Warfare 3. I don't know what happened. It wasn't a bad gun on its own, but when you compared it to all the other ARs in the game, it was actually pretty crappy. It would hit for as low as 20 damage, and it fired at 790 rounds per minute with a very, very steep range drop-off, much more so than any other version of the M4. So at close range, you could melt somewhat quickly, but what gun doesn't? Mid to long range, it was a hit marker machine. Plus, you need to keep in mind that Modern Warfare 3, we had the SCAR, we had the ACR, the G36C, and the Type 95, all of which would run circles around the M4. So it wasn't bad on its own, but it was one of the worst guns in this game. At number 8, I love putting this on lists. The FAD. Yep, I know, I get hate. I put it on a list the other day, but you can't tell me I'm wrong. It was the last assault rifle you unlocked in Modern Warfare 3, and it was definitely one of the most underwhelming unlocks if you ask me. The last gun should be amazing. The FAD was a bullet hose. Fired at 1,000 rounds per minute, and at close range it would hit for 30 damage. It killed in 4 shots, but when you backed up even just the slightest, you bring that damage all the way down to 25, which is still 4 shots. But it gave the enemy a little more wiggle room to retaliate, and the kick on it, it was unforgiving. The recoil pattern, it was weird, and it didn't seem to go up and down or side to side, but rather it would just bounce all over the place. Extremely unpredictable, hard to control. And the iron sights, well, don't even get me started. They were atrocious. Then, the cherry on top of all this sundae was the reload animation was a painful 3.5 seconds. And since this thing burned through ammo, you were going to spend a lot of time reloading. Now, I know there's a small cult following for this gun, but when you look at the FAD compared to the other ARs in Modern Warfare 3 and even some of the SMGs, it's easy to see why it's pretty easy for me to put it on the list. At number 7, the Odin in Modern Warfare 2019. Now, when MW first came out, people thought the Odin was going to be some awesome beef machine, but it's actually fallen off the map as the game has progressed and the meta has evolved. It's a slow-firing assault rifle that can kill in 2 to 3 shots, which sounds good on paper. But then when you start getting into all the nitty-gritty details, it kind of just falls apart. The handling, it's painfully slow. And if you throw an attachment on to speed it up, you often end up sacrificing its 2-shot kill potential, which kind of ruins the whole appeal of the gun, right? Then, if you use attachments to beef it up and make it as consistent as possible, you end up making it so slow that it's impossible to use without camping. Now, I mean, if you're a camper, you probably have no problem with the Odin, but if you're a normal COD player who moves around a decent amount, you probably can't stand this thing. It's way too slow. At number 6, the M14 in COD 4. Now, the M14, along with the M4, has appeared in a lot of COD games, but I think its original appearance was its worst. Super high damage rifle. It could kill in 2 shots to the body, but it had a few fatal flaws attached. First one, the iron sights were horrible. It made it really difficult to be precise without an optic. Second one, the recoil, it was bad. It made it hard to be precise and get follow-up shots, even if you did have an optic. And the last one, semi-automatic weapons in COD 4 struggled. I mean, you had a very fast time to kill, and the dominance of weapons like the M16, the MP5, the AK, and the M40A3, well, you know where I'm going. You could get some work done with the M14, but it was just too difficult to get the hang of for most people, and if you wanted to use a semi-auto rifle, the G3 was pretty much better in every way. It eventually catered to fan favorites, I guess, a cult following, but the original appearance in COD 4 was rough, mainly due to how much the mechanics of COD 4 actually punished you if you didn't play perfectly with this gun. At number 5, the Shiva in Black Ops 3. Another one of those guns that I always see people defending whenever I talk bad about it, but I don't understand why people like it. It was a semi-automatic rifle, you guys are seeing a trend here, 2 to 3 shots, but it had a low fire rate cap of just 257 rounds per minute, meaning it was practically a DMR. At range, you could get some work done, but if someone rushed you at close range or mid-range, it was pretty much useless because people would just dance around your shots and then hose you with another AR or an SMG. Now, I can see why people liked it from a precision weapon standpoint, but from an assault rifle standpoint, it was straight garbage. I think it's one of the worst ARs in COD history. That's why I put it at number 5. Now, I know there's going to be some dislikes because of it. The FAL in Modern Warfare 2019. Remember everything I said about the M14 in COD 4, and you can copy paste it right here. It's not a bad gun, but in order to use it effectively, you have to be playing perfectly. And let's be honest, most people aren't going to do that. It returned in the latest Modern Warfare once again as a semi-automatic rifle with some high bullet damage, but difficult recoil. Handling, it was slow. Damage was slow too. Slow, it was low. Low and slow, people. Compared to other versions of the FAL, the Modern Warfare is definitely the weakest. Now, when the game launched, it was possible to need 3 shots to kill with it, and I'm not honestly sure if that's still the case. It's been a while since I've used it, but I do know it's a low-tier weapon. Semi-automatics are a struggle in Modern Warfare, mainly due to the power of the full autos in that game, and in the COD games with really short times to kill, you want something that is going to melt. In semi-automatics, you need them to be really fast and really precise with very little room for error, and this gun just doesn't do it. Here's a gun I think most of us will agree on is straight trash. The SMR in Black Ops 2. Everybody remembers the BO2 FAL, but less people remember the runt of the litter, the little brother, the SMR. Another semi-automatic rifle, but I'm not sure why Treyarch even put it in the game because it's literally just a worse version of the FAL. I would like to see the use stats on this thing. Nobody used it. It would kill in 2 to 3 shots, which is cool, but it had a low fire rate cap of 535 rounds per minute. Now let's compare that to the FAL, which would also kill in 2 to 3 shots, but had a fire rate cap of 625 rounds. Both weapons, very low recoil, solid cover penetration, but the SMR was literally just a worse version of the FAL, and I scratch my head at Treyarch deciding to even include the gun. I'm all for weapon variety in COD. This wasn't weapon variety. This was a weapon that put you at a disadvantage every single time, so what's the point? And believe it or not, I still only think the SMR was the 3rd worst AR in COD history. At number 2, the MK14 in Advanced Warfare. One more semi-automatic rifle to top off the list. Now, some games it shined. Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3, it was good, but when it came out to Advanced Warfare, I mean, it was bad. It was super bad. This is complete trash gun, and it remains trash to this day. The Advanced Warfare MK14 would hit for a maximum of 34 damage. 3-shot kill. Absolute last thing you want from a semi-automatic rifle in a game where everybody is bunny hopping 40 feet in the air. The fire rate cap, slow. The iron sights, mediocre. The semi-autos all suffered in Advanced Warfare because of jetpacks. We know that. Now, I mean, seriously, good luck hitting somebody 3 times with this gun without them boost jumping over you and spraying you down with a bow. Absolutely nobody used the MK14 in Advanced Warfare, but somehow, it still wasn't the worst AR in the game. Because that belongs to the M16 in Advanced Warfare. It pains me to put an M16 on here. What was Sledgehammer doing when they designed this gun? I don't think anybody tested it. I don't think they did. It was added a little way into the game cycle. It was DLC, but it quickly became a point of ridicule in the COD community due to how bad it was. 3-round burst, just like the previous games, but the damage had been super nerfed and the fire rate was low, and the iron sights are some of the worst. They are. One bursting people was a rarity, which defeats the whole purpose of using burst weapons in the first place. The COD 4 M16 was one of the best guns in COD history. Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 versions, a bit more balanced, but still ridiculously strong. But then, along came this thing. It killed the reputation of the weapon for a while until Treyarch brought the hype back in Black Ops 3. But if you ask me, the Advanced Warfare M16 is the worst assault rifle in COD history. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Let me know what your list would be. Drop a like, and I'll see you soon.